The Sovereign Individual, Mastering the Transition to the Information Age by James Dale Davidson and Lord William Rees-Mogg. In this video review, I'm going to talk about this book, why this book is still relevant even though it was written in 1997. I'm going to go into some of the topics that this book covers, and towards the end I'm going to share a few other books that would help you position yourself well strategically as we go fully into the digital age. So don't miss that. Let's go. Hi, welcome to the BookLab. I'm Björn, and today we're going to talk about The Sovereign Individual. The Sovereign Individual, a ruthless manifesto for the digital age. James Dale Davidson and Lord William Rees-Mogg takes us along on an intellectual tour into the new economical age. The big casualty of the digital age is the nation state. The authors, they predict its bloody demise and the rise of the sovereign individual. The authors argue with chilling precision that the information age will dismantle traditional power structures. In the digital age, the incentives for rewards and punishment, as well as the nature of violence, will change, as it always does when there's a big societal paradigm shift going on. And this will usher the way for a new era where individuals will be able to escape the control of national governments. Their prophecy is bold and harsh. The smart will thrive, the slow will perish, and the sovereign individual will emerge as a winner while the masses fight for breadcrumbs. Davidson and Mogg's vision is nothing short of apocalyptic. They dissect the dying corpse of the 20th century state with surgical detail, inspecting every festering wound, bureaucratic bloat, fiscal irresponsibility, and regulatory overreach. Their writing is as sharp as the guillotine's blade. You may have felt it too. I think many readers of this channel are aware that society is changing rapidly, and it has done so for a long time. What got me to pick up this book was that I felt like people are now living in two parallel worlds at the same time. The era of exponential, world-changing technology, but at the same time some of our thinking and strategies are just made for the old industrial world. Sometimes when I'm in discussion with people, I feel like there's such great cognitive dissonance when we talk about things. People talk about workers going on strike or what politicians say and do like it matters. It actually doesn't really, because technology dictates where we're heading. And oftentimes I hear people plan for the future, like the future would look like the present does today. This makes me feel uneasy because I know the world has changed, we have moved into a new era, and it's time to act accordingly. The old rules don't apply anymore. Even transitions that are undeniably real in retrospect might not be acknowledged for decades, even centuries after they happened. This book helped me deal with the unease that I felt of what I saw as two parallel worlds unfolding simultaneously. How did it help me? Well, it helped me pinpoint how society is changing, because it goes into detail of what changes to expect in the age of microprocessing. The digital age will change how we live and work, who will attain power in this era and who will lose it. And it goes into what type of chaos to expect as politics and nation states fade away. I will not be able to go into every detail of this book, but I will highlight three things that I found interesting and also something that will give you a taste of what this book has to offer. We will see the emergence of a digital underclass that is against technology. The amount of people that can't be deployed effectively in the workforce will grow substantially. And the same goes for top jobs. A smaller percentage will be able to do the best paid work. But those who possess the required specialized skill to do those work, they will reap enormous rewards. Charles Booth coined the term the lowest limit of positive social usefulness. And this number was about 3% in the 40s and 50s. These were people that would not be able to join the workforce because it wouldn't be efficient to have them working. Quote, suppose that in the information age the required score has risen, 24% has fallen under the level of social usefulness. Top jobs might fall from 32 to 5%. These numbers might not be exact, but we know for sure that they will rise. Another interesting part of this book is how it predicts that cryptographically based cyber money will undermine the nation state. And it did so 12 years before we had our first cryptocurrencies. Quote, inflation as a revenue option will be largely foreclosed by the emergence of cyber money. Essentially, the prediction is that technology will help us bypass the traditional gatekeepers of money. Quote, in the new millennium, cyber money, controlled by private markets, will supersede fiat money, controlled by governments. Only the poor will be victims of inflation. The authors predict that the most momentous consequence of digital money is the end of inflation. And the last point is about how and why the nation states will fail. Quote, information technology facilitates dramatically increased competitions between jurisdictions. When technology is mobile and transactions occur in cyberspace, as they will increasingly do, governments will no longer be able to charge more for their services than they are worth to the people who pay them. Anyone with a portable computer and a satellite link will be able to conduct almost any information business anywhere. And that includes almost the whole of the world's multi-trillion-dollar financial transactions. The nature of work has forever changed due to the internet. You're no longer bound to one location in order to do your work, and more work can be done fully digitally. This means that you're not as bound to a location as you was before. If you're in a jurisdiction where you feel like the taxes you pay don't give you the security and benefits that you feel like they should, then you can move to another jurisdiction. One effect of this is that countries that don't treat their citizens correctly, that take out predatory taxes, will lose their best customer, basically, those that are able to earn the most in the digital age and hence pays the most taxes. There will be a fight for skilled labor, and citizens will be able to basically shop for what country that offers the best benefits. This is a huge change, and this book goes into a lot of detail on this subject. This book has aged really well. It was originally published in 1997, and the prediction in this book holds up a lot, and I really enjoyed to read this book since it's an older book, and you can see, or I have seen in my lifetime, how these predictions that this book is talking about is playing out. This book is not for the faint of heart, because it will point out facts about the new digital age that once they are seen, they are hard to unsee. And it might force you to act as well. Is your career path in line with where society is heading? Do you own the right assets for the digital age? Do you live in a country that would thrive in the digital era, or in a country that won't? These are the kind of questions that this book will force you to think about. This book is a punch to the solar plexus, and it's books like these that make me believe that reading is one of the most rewarding activities in life. This book is a visionary blueprint for the brave new world that we are heading towards. It is a wake-up call, and ignore the warnings at your own peril, because it does not only predict a probable future, but a future that is actually unfolding as we speak. And I want to end this with a more hopeful quote. For the first time, those who can motivate and educate themselves will be almost entirely free to invent their own work and realize the full benefits of their own productivity. Genius will be unleashed. So that's the sovereign individual, mastering the transition to the information age. And I want to end this video with a few more recommendations. It's kind of a kit for surviving the transition into the digital era. And these are books that have helped me a lot when it comes to wrapping my head around how to position yourself well in the new digital economy. First out, you should read a book called The Price of Tomorrow. This is a book I haven't reviewed yet, but I will very soon. The tagline is "Why Deflation is Key to an Abundant Future." In this book, Jeff Booth talks about technology versus Keynesian economics. We live in a world where we aim for 2% inflation. That's like the common goal for the whole Western world. For some reason, it's just a magical number that everyone is reaching for. But the problem is that technology is deflationary. Productivity goes up at such a speed, in an exponential rate, that it's hard to keep the prices going up. And due to that, there is a lot of debt accumulation and money printing going on. This is an absolutely fascinating book that I will go into more detail. Start with this one to understand the problem of debt and currency debasement. After that, you should read The Sovereign Individual to understand the implications of the digital era, which is not fully understood by most people. And that book might leave you a bit sad and stressed. You might look for solutions, and at that point you should pick up the Bitcoin Standard, which is a quite helpful book to understand how you can safeguard your economic power in an age of just chaos, tumult, and fiscal irresponsibility. So these are some great books to read if you're interested in these topics. Thanks for tuning in. I'm back next week with more book reviews. I'm gonna talk about Ryan Holiday's new book very soon, right here, right now. And I also wrapped up another volume in the Story of Civilization series, volume 4, The Age of Faith, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that one. And then we also have, of course, The Price of Tomorrow. So a lot of reviews coming up on the channel, so like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next week, Björn out. Happy reading, everyone.